Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, a Laurel County man is behind bars after police say he admitted to stealing a school bus. Plus, former President Donald Trump is in court to try and dismiss the federal classified documents case against him.
Plus, we are tracking some showers to increase as our next weather system rolls through. Your forecast on the way as Mountain News at 5:30 starts now.
Dedicated to southern and eastern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 5:30.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. We continue to follow a developing story in Perry County that we first told you about at 4:30. A school bus and motorcycle collided at the intersection of Kentucky 15 and Kentucky 28 north of Hazard. Let's go to the scene now where WYMT's Madison Carmouche is live with the very latest. Madison?
Yeah, that's right, Steve. A school bus, a Perry County school bus, and a motorcycle did have a crash here on the intersection of Kentucky 15 and Kentucky 28. I actually have Trooper Matt Gayhart here with me just to kind of talk to us about what they know so far about the accident. Matt, can you just kind of tell me about what all happened as far as you know right now?
As of right now, it's still in the preliminary stages of being investigated, but what we know now is the Perry County school bus actually made contact with the motorcycles on Kentucky 15 intersection of Kentucky 28. As of right now, only one reported injury, and that was the motorcycles. The school bus was loaded with children, however, there's no injuries reported at this time.
Do you guys know the school that the bus was coming from at this time?
At this time, I don't have that information readily available.
And then as far as the motorcyclist, you say that is the one injury that we have right now. Do you have any update on his condition or where he was taken, or she?
As of right now, they were flown from a landing zone here locally to Holston Valley to receive medical treatment. As far as the current update on the status, I'm unsure.
All right, and then as far as traffic right now, I know they are taking some drone photos for evidence as far as recreating the scene and just having that information. How long do you all feel like this road will be closed?
I would say we'll be out here at least a couple more hours conducting this investigation, so we encourage people to find an alternate route, or if they do have to come through here, make sure they use caution.
All right. Is there anything else that you want to add or let people know at this time?
As of right now, that's all we got.
All right, well, if you all don't have any more questions for us, I think that's all we know for now. I'm going to send it back to you, Steve. If you here in Perry County, Madison Carmouche, WYMT Mountain News.
So Madison, I know the road, they were still letting traffic through when we talked to you at 4:30. Is it completely shut down right now as they recreate this crash?
Yes, at this time, the road is completely shut down. We were actually asked to move backwards as well because they are using the drones up above. It's literally right above us right now to get some photographs of the scene in its entirety.
All right, so definitely want to avoid that area for the next little bit. Madison Carmouche live there at the intersection of Highway 15 and 28 north of Hazard. That's the road you turn on to go toward Chavies and Buckhorn if you're familiar with that area. So definitely want to avoid Highway 15 north of Hazard right now. Well, officials with the London Police Department are still wondering how a man was able to steal a school bus, later crashing it. WYMT's RJ Johnson is in Laurel County with more on that.
Working to get drunk drivers off the road is something Hobie Doherty with the London Police Department says they do every day. On Tuesday, police say 26-year-old John Driscoll stole a school bus from South Laurel High School, then crashed it near the intersection of Middle Ground Way and Sublimity School Road.
We strive to make sure that we get intoxicated drivers off the road and to make sure that all the citizens are safe the best that we can. Unfortunately, things like this happen from time to time, but as you can tell, our officers were Johnny on the spot with it. They were immediately in the area trying to locate and did locate the suspect and arrested him for that.
Throughout the investigation, police say they could smell alcohol on Driscoll.
Speaking with him, and during the investigation, he could smell an odor of an alcoholic beverage on his persons, and he had admitted to the officer that he had been drinking Fireball whiskey and that he had stolen the school bus from South Laurel High School.
While it is unclear how Driscoll was able to steal the bus, Doherty says it serves as a reminder to make sure that your door is locked and that you keep your keys on you at all times.
That way, people aren't going through your vehicle and they don't have access to drive it if they are found with the keys inside it. Everybody thinks well, it's not going to happen to me, and then inevitably it may.
He says it is good they were able to arrest Driscoll, saying the situation could have been worse.
So, I mean, it obviously could have been a lot worse than what it was. I mean, fortunately, that was a side street and it was late at night. So there more than likely was not a lot of people out on that road at that time. And, you know, we're thankful for the witness to kind of give us a description of who had left the bus and was able to pinpoint us or point us in the right direction.
In London, RJ Johnson, WYMT Mountain News.
Driscoll faces several charges, including first-degree criminal mischief, leaving the scene of an accident, reckless and careless driving, theft by unlawful taking, and DUI. He's being held in the Laurel County Detention Center. In northern Kentucky, state police are investigating after a man was shot and killed by Covington police. It happened overnight at an apartment complex in Kenton County. 2 Covington police officers responded to a call about an attempted burglary. They found a man with a knife beating on an apartment door. The officers say the man came at them and they responded with gunfire. The suspect, whose name has not been released, was pronounced dead shortly after the shooting. A woman and her daughter were reported missing in northeastern Kentucky earlier today, but both have been found safe. Joanna Wyrick and her daughter Bella Arnold are from Boyd County. The Boyd County Sheriff says the 2 were found in Pinch, West Virginia in Kanawha County. The 2 were spotted after police say they were trying to use an ATM card at a gas station.
Well, for most, we are dry on this Thursday evening. However, we are watching out for a new severe thunderstorm warning close to I-64 at this hour. This does include a northern sliver of Lawrence County, also moving into Wayne County, West Virginia. And this storm could produce some large hail up to quarter-sized, also winds up to 60 miles per hour. And this is a severe thunderstorm warning that will last through 6 p.m. this evening. Now, again, for the vast majority of us, we have no severe weather issues. This is a lone supercell that will continue pushing into West Virginia over the next few minutes there. For most of us, these are current conditions. We are dry, also mainly sunny and warm. A live look from Louisa in Lawrence County. And not much happening at this hour. And check out these temperatures, up to 81 degrees in Somerset, 78 for Pikeville, also in Jackson, and 79 over in Estill County for Irvin at this hour. Now we are tracking some more rain chances, all thanks to a strong cold front pushing into portions of Missouri, also Arkansas, Oklahoma. These are tornado watch boxes pushing into portions of Illinois, also Indiana and Ohio. Now again, for our region, we are not tracking any major severe weather issues, but those rain chances are going to increase by late tonight, also into your Friday. More details on those showers coming up in just a few minutes. Steve?
Cameron, thank you. And I just saw that the National Weather Service has confirmed an EF1 tornado in Milton, Kentucky, after severe weather rolled through several parts of Indiana and Kentucky earlier today. Again, our area not really affected by this at all, but there has been some damage out of parts of Indiana and Kentucky after severe weather earlier. Well, former President Trump was in a Florida courtroom again today, this time trying to have one of his criminal cases dismissed altogether. Meanwhile, the judge in a case in Georgia is weighing another motion Trump's attorneys have filed. CBS's Natalie Brand has the latest on all of it from Washington.
Outside the federal courthouse in Fort Pierce, Florida, Thursday, former President Trump's supporters gathered as he and lawyers arrived for a hearing to try and get the classified documents case dismissed.
There are basically 2 motions to dismiss that are on the docket for today, where Judge Cannon said, clear the day, we're going to talk about both of these.
Attorneys spent the morning discussing Trump's motion that the statute he's been charged with is unconstitutionally vague. Judge Eileen Cannon, a Trump appointee, signaled skepticism, telling Trump's attorney declaring a statute unconstitutionally vague is an extraordinary step. Trump's legal team also contends the former president is shielded from prosecution by the Presidential Records Act, arguing he was still the president when many of the documents were packed and delivered to Mar-a-Lago. Prosecutors say the act does not exempt Trump from criminal law or entitle him to declare highly classified presidential records are personal.
In the Georgia election interference case, the judge there tossed out 3 of the 13 counts against the former president, but legal analysts say most of that case remains intact.
The crux of the case remains the racketeering, which is the core of the case. All of those charges stand. But the prosecution could fairly easily go to a grand jury and say, we are going to add that specificity now.
Judge Scott McAfee has not yet ruled on whether District Attorney Fani Willis should be removed from the case over a romantic relationship with Special Prosecutor Nathan Wade. Natalie Brandt, CBS News, Washington.
Judge McAfee said he has set himself a deadline of this week to issue the ruling regarding Fani Willis. A federal appeals court has denied an ex-Trump advisor's bid to avoid federal prison next week. Peter Navarro now has to report to prison by March 19th. He'll be serving a 4-month sentence at a low-security prison in Florida for his contempt of Congress conviction. Navarro tried to argue he was protected by executive privilege. The former senior aide to President Trump can still ask the Supreme Court to rule in his favor, but a decision in his favor is viewed as unlikely. Vice President Harris toured a Minnesota clinic that provides abortion services to draw attention to what she calls a serious health crisis affecting women in the United States. The vice president met with medical providers in the state dealing with the aftermath of the Supreme Court's 2022 decision to overturn Roe v. Wade. Minnesota passed a new law guaranteeing the right to abortion, but neighboring states, including North and South Dakota, have passed bans.
I have met women who have had miscarriages in toilets. I met a woman who went to the emergency room to receive care and was turned away repeatedly because the doctors were afraid that they could go to jail for giving her care, and it wasn't until she developed sepsis. And in this healthcare crisis, let us all recognize who is to blame.
The vice president's office says Harris's trip to Planned Parenthood, which provides abortion services, was a first for any president or vice president. Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, folks are always looking for ways to minimize credit card debt. Tips on what you can do to rein in those issues.
Plus, we are above average today, but some cooler conditions are looming by early next week. Those details coming up.